Hello and welcome to another video. I am actually very excited for this video. It's going to be a reading wrapped summary, I guess. I don't really know. I just really want to talk about the books I've read and it's kind of like my stats throughout the year because this was my first year reading ever. I'm still debating whether or not I want to do a full everything I've read this year video. We'll see if that happens. I don't know. So we'll see about that once this comes out. It either happened or it didn't. We'll see. But as you can see, I'm in my Taylor Swift hoodie. I have my hairstyles blanket. I got Pebbles with me, and I'm comfy on my bed because I am exhausted and I have a very bad headache right now. Okay, so y'all are all gonna have to bear with me. Thank you. I stayed up till 3 in the morning reading last night, so I'm very tired. And we are also pointing away from my bookshelves because currently all my books are on the floor. Literally, there's not a single bookshelf, or there's not a single book on my bookshelf right now. So we're not gonna show that, okay? So starting off, of course, we got the total books I've read this year. Right now, it is It's December 19th right now. And I have read 83 books. I am assuming that number is going to grow like one or two before the very end of the year. So we'll see what happens there. But yes, right now, the total books I've read is 83. It'll probably maybe go highest, probably 86, maybe. So yeah, my most reread book is Betting on You by Lynn. I have reread it many times. I have listened to the audiobook many times. I have this book memorized at this point. Y'all can ask me anything about this book and I will be able to tell you off of memory. It's like that for most Lynn Painter books at this point, though. I've reread them all so many times. My most read author in total, if I can have my microphone stand up for a second. My most read author of this year is Lynn Painter. Between her books and her short stories, I have read 15 of her things. I think 16 now because she just released a bonus epilogue. So yeah, Lynn Painter, I love you. Thank you for writing your books. She's my favorite author of all time. Love her so much. The longest book I've read this year is Winter by Marissa Mayer. It's the last book in the Lunar Chronicles series at 827 pages, which is crazy. I think it took me 5 days to finish. And I really thought Binding 13 was going to be my longest book, but Binding 13 is only 650 pages. So I guess Winter is longer. Anyways, my favorite trope that I've read throughout the year, and it's just stayed consistent, that it's my favorite trope and I love it so very much, is fake dating. Oh, I love fake dating. I love that trope so much. And I also love friends to lovers. Those are my favorite tropes ever. Nothing can ever beat them. Friends to lovers, fake dating, it's just so fun, especially when they're mixed, Betting on You, friends to lovers, fake dating. It's so good. It's so cute because they're always just so happy all the time until there's conflict in the very end, which we could go without that. But they're always just so happy because they're fake dating even though they really love each other and they're already friends, so they don't have to pretend to hate each other. It's so nice. It's so nice. So yeah, that's my favorite trope. The fastest book I read this year, it's between 3 books. We got Betting on You. I read this in 5 hours. I read The Do-Over also in 5 hours. I stayed up very late to read both of these. So, yeah. And then I read 5 Survive by Holly Jackson in 7 hours, which honestly is my best work considering it's 500 pages long. Is it 500 pages? I feel like that's a little much. It's almost 400 pages, and it took me 7 hours to read, almost on the dot because I was on a car drive when I read it, so I know how long it took. So yeah, that one was pretty fast. And then Binding 13, I'm counting because I read that in like, what did I say? I read Binding 13 in 6 hours, and it's 650 pages, which is really good. Like, that's really fast. So I included that in there. Um, my favorite fantasy world that I read this year has got to be the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. That world is just so fun. I guess it's also the Caraval world. I just like Once Upon a Broken Heart much better. I think it's so good. They're both really good series, but Once Upon a Broken Heart is just, it's so good. Okay, so yeah. My most read genre this year, according to Fable, which actually is very accurate for me because I put all my stats into Fable. But my most read genre was romance, and it said I read 65 romance books. I don't know how true that is. I feel like I need to count them, but this whole month of October, this whole month of December, I've been reading fantasy, or oh my goodness, what am I saying? This whole month of December, I've been reading romance. So I guess, like, technically that makes sense. But 65 out of the 83 books that I've read being romance is kind of ridiculous. And I don't know how much I believe it. So either way, I know romance is my most read genre. But I don't know about 65 books. I think maybe that's counting, like, novellas and stuff, like Olive Lynn Painter's, like, bonus chapters and things. So it's counting stuff like that. Because I've read a lot of fantasy too. I really have. And I feel like people don't believe me when I say that, but I really have read a lot of fantasy. I read fantasy. Well, I used to read fantasy more, but this month I've only been reading like romance because it's only Christmas books. I've only read Christmas books this month, and they're all romance. So leave me alone. This was actually sent in by one of my followers. They said, "What was your biggest letdown this year? The biggest book letdown?" And that has to go to Shatter Me because I was so excited to read Shatter Me, y'all. Like, y'all don't understand. I thought I was going to love Shatter Me about the first 3 books overseas, and I had to get them back home because I thought I was going to love it so much. And I started reading it, and I was like, I know the first book isn't good. So I was like, okay, that's fine. The second book was like, boring, slow. The third book was same thing, slow. Restore Me was great. Okay, Restore Me was so good. And then Defy Me and Imagine Me ruined everything. They were so awful. They sucked. So yeah, Shatter Me, the series as a whole was just the biggest letdown for me. Before any of y'all, oh my gosh, before any of y'all comment asking why I didn't like the series, I have a Shatter Me video up. It's a full review on why I didn't like the series. I would say go watch that if you're wondering because I don't feel like explaining it right now. I'm so tired. The book that surprised me the most, like that I gave 5 stars, that I did not think I was gonna give 5 stars, is a series called Defy the Night by, I think her name's Bridget Kemmerer. I don't know how to say her name. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to say her name, but Defy the Night. It's a series. It's a trilogy. It has Defy the Night, Defend the Dawn, and Destroy the Day, I think. Such a good series. The whole series for me was 5 stars. It's really good. It's very plot heavy for all of my people that love fantasy so much more than I like romance and things like that. I have a friend who's a lot like that. And so it's very plot heavy with also having a really good side plot of romance. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds because I personally love the romance plot so much more than like the actual plot, but they're both so good. They were so good. My comfort book throughout the entire year when I first read it, I was like, okay, this is obviously going to be my comfort book. Like, it's just the best ever. And I have reread it so many times. And if y'all can guess, it is Betting on You by Lynn Painter. This book is, it's so good. And I think I said in like my Nothing Like the Movies video, I was like, where is my other Nothing Like the Movies book? Where's the purple? Oh, it's down there. I did say that Nothing Like the Movies was going to be my comfort read, but like Nothing Like the Movies is so depressing, kind of. Like, I don't really, like, my comfort read is this one because they both like each other the whole time. But Nothing Like the Movies is like Liz doesn't like Wes for a good chunk of it. And I can't read that. It can't be my comfort book. I love it so much and I reread it all the time, but Betting on You just takes the trophy when it comes to comfort reads because it's so good. And then the last category that I put is the character I see myself the most in, and that has to go to the Do-Over because it has to go to Emily Hornby, who is from the Do-Over because when I first read the Do-Over, it wasn't my favorite. I read it after I read Better Than the Movie, so I had not read Betting on You yet. And I was like, okay, it was really good. I think I gave it 5 stars. I surely didn't give it 4 stars, I would hope. But this book takes like an acquired, not even that. It's different from the rest of the books that Lynn has written. I'm so sorry. I can't speak right now. Y'all are going to have to bear with me. It's different from the rest of the books that Lynn writes because it has that aspect of like it's repeating the day over and 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 over again. And that's just not realistic, right? And so it's definitely different in that sense. It's definitely repetitive, but like you just have to get through it because it's in the end it's so good. And I've reread it I think 4 times now. And every time I figure out something new about this book, something that I missed before, between like the Nick's brother's jacket or I actually don't know what else I missed. I know I missed a bunch of other stuff, but like for some reason I'm only focusing on Nick's jacket right now. Like his brother's jacket, the reason that the days repeating ended, like the reason that happened, stuff like that is just so cool to go back and reread and figure more things out. And I think that's really cool with the Do-Over. Sorry, I didn't mean to get on a tangent about why the Do-Over is so good. I meant to talk about why I see myself most Emily Hornby. But Emily Hornby, in the beginning, before she goes through the Do-Over, because we don't really see her much after the Do-Over. We don't see how she's changed or anything. But before the Do-Over, she's very planned. Okay? She has a to-do list. She checks everything off one by one. She has a set plan for the day. And she has a checklist about like what she wants in her boyfriend. And if they don't meet all of that, then she's not going to date them. And that is me. That is very me. I am a very planned person. I am very, very, very type A. So yes, I plan everything out quite similarly to how Emily does it in the beginning. I don't have the whole boyfriend thing yet because I've not even thought about that, like, not seriously, so I don't really care about that. I mean, obviously I have like certain things that I need to check off, but like I'm not even looking right now, so that's fun. And then like also during the Do-Over or during the DONC, we get to see how she like lets loose. We get to see how she's more comfortable around Nick than she is with anybody else, and like she feels safe with him, so therefore she like does all this stuff that she normally wouldn't be comfortable doing. And I think that's really cool, and I feel like I do that a lot around a person that I'm really comfortable with. I let loose. I just do not care anymore. And I'm like the version of myself that like is actually me instead of like changing little things here and there. And so when I find that person I'm very comfortable with, I am wholly myself, which is I think what Emily is in the DONC. I think that's why she's so comfortable with him. So yeah, and I love Emily, and all of y'all tell me that I am Emily. I've tried to say I'm Bailey before, and no, y'all very disagreed with that. So yeah, I mean like all of Lynn's main characters have similar things in common, especially like the girls. They have a lot of stuff in common. So I feel like yeah, but I definitely see myself in Emily more. I just went off on a giant tangent, but it's okay. I got to explain why I love the Do-Over so much, which is great. So yeah, yeah, that's the end of this video. That's all the categories I have. I'm trying to think if oh, no, wait, I missed something. I wanted to mention this because I love this book so much, but my favorite indie book I read this year, which means like favorite book by, like an indie published author where they're not really in major stores like that. It's like their debut novel, which this isn't their debut novel, but she is still an indie author. So, Rival Darling by Alexandra Moody. It's so good. I highly recommend. It does look like a lot like the Icebreaker cover. I assure you, it is nothing like Icebreaker, except for the fact that he's a hockey player because she does not even ice skate. Okay. So it's a hockey romance. It's fake dating. It's rivals to lovers. Not really. I don't know who says that. I don't think it really is. But she goes to this school and they're rivals with his school, and she's like new to town. And it's just very cute overall. I love fake dating. I loved it. Everybody that has read it that I've talked to has loved it. Everybody that I've recommended it to has loved it. So I highly recommend this book. You can get it off of Amazon. I think one of my friends got it off of the Barnes & Noble website, but it's not in stores yet, I don't think. So, yeah, it's very good. So that is the last category. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a great day. Hope you have the best day ever. And go read some more books. I don't even want to say Happy December because I don't know if it's still December when this is going to come out. But, like, Happy New Year.